next we've got Fujikiyo. Now if I don't put Fujikiyo in like God tier, I feel like he's gonna be upset with me, you know. I think Fujikiyo's another interesting one. I'm not actually gonna put him in God tier, I'm sorry. He's another character that's got quite a bit of lore behind him that we don't really get in game unless you seek it out. And he's supposed to be this sort of legendary warrior within the samurai who impressed the Emperor so much. So we've got the pikeman. He's actually supposed to be a pikeman. I was just going to do funny and put him like up here because they're just ridiculous, aren't they? Okay, hear me out. Hear me out here. The minions share like a collective brain cell. They're just an endless tide. They keep respawning.
Precursor was a For Honor YouTuber until he was bullied for being British.
Tomorrow. The
worst crime for a British man is not having baked beans with his breakfast. Definitely a good reason for a good old hanging.
First time.
Until he finally moved on to playing Souls-like games. Not very well, mind you.
Ooh, that's kind of small. Yikes.
I thought before we continue with the exposing of Precursor, here is an actual photo of what he looks like.
Do you honestly think you're fucking funny?
You may be asking, why am I making this video? The short answer is, Precursor disrespected my man Fujikiyo by not putting him in God tier. So please take a seat, Precursor, because I'm going to be your teacher for today, and no toilet breaks allowed during the lesson. I'm going to be explaining why Fujikiyo is the best samurai among the Dawn Empire. Let's take a look at the lore. Before he was a commander of the fort, he was a great champion of the samurai. What does this mean? This means that the samurai chose him to represent them, just like how the Emperor's champion represents the Emperor, whose feats in battle earned the attention of the Emperor, as a result appointed him commander of Fort Kaiokabe, an extremely important stronghold defense to get into the Maya. He is also a part of the Imperial Family House, a major samurai faction besides the Dawn Empire. Before you even meet the legendary man himself, you see him stopping his soldiers after opening the gate, basically killing all the dirty, unwashed Vikings.
I hate Vikings.
Honestly, I don't see any negative sides to that.
Scoreboard! Scoreboard! Oh, what happened to your friend? Hey, I know that guy. I killed him. He cried like a bitch.
Just as you're about to finally fight him, you see mountains of bodies before him. Basically turned all the Vikings into minced meat, but more accurate for you, Precursor, a blood pudding. This is also where you find Apollyon talking about the exploits and legendary status of Fujikiyo.
The fort's commander was Fujikiyo, a samurai champion. His name had reached across the sea. Even the Vikings knew of his legend. There, the war-born raider would face him.
Apollyon doesn't talk about everyone in the campaign, only people that have her interest. Basically like the hot girl in high school, or more accurately nowadays, Tinder. Apollyon states that Fujikiyo's legend was so legendary it reached across the sea to the Vikings, and they know of him. Keep in mind, the Vikings don't know anyone about, I don't know, Tozen, Dogacha, Ranja, Ayu, Seijiro. People that are far more interesting into the campaign, have more story about them, have more unique weapons, armor, helmets, things that we can't even get in the campaign that are sought after. But Fujikiyo, a simple, basic kensei, who didn't do too much to the campaign except, well, die to the raider unfortunately, is known across the sea to the Vikings. The Vikings don't know anyone about, I don't know, like Tozen, the guy who could clone himself. Just keep that in mind. They know a simple kensei, but they don't know the legendary exploits of Tozen, who could clone himself. If we need to go one step further to talk about the exploits and legendary status of Fujikiyo, let's take a look at the old original trailer of the Viking mission. In that, Fujikiyo was originally named Saburo.
Time to fight Saburo. He's one of the many bosses.
No, we're not talking about the car. Shut up. The Vikings state that Fujikiyo was a legendary commander among his people and the Vikings. Well, there you go. Fujikiyo gets the legendary card, so it's no longer just Raider. You are Raider. Legendary.
Their commander was legendary among his people. And ours.
So here's another fun fact I just want to mention. Fujikiyo and his forces knew the Vikings were coming, so that's pretty smart intellect.
Vikings. They knew we were coming.
As well, he set an ambush for the Vikings and they just got railed. But the only negative factor on the side of it is that Fujikiyo didn't have enough forces, and as well the fort was kind of falling apart. Now, who could you blame for that? Not Fujikiyo, the Emperor, of course, because he wouldn't give the resources to him. That's the only reason why the Vikings actually won. Another interesting point that I don't think a lot of people realize is that when you fight Fujikiyo, he literally locks the gate behind you.
Michael! Don't leave me here! Michael! Michael! Help me!
What's stopping him from killing you, winning, and then the rest of your forces on the other side just getting picked off by a bunch of archers? Or even just getting completely railed? You have all your forces just there, watching you, fighting Fujikiyo. If he wins, the whole Viking army is destroyed and dead.
Is this a joke?
There'd be no one surviving. From the appearance of Fujikiyo, you may say he is a simple kensei. On one hand, you're correct, but on the other, you're wrong. When you truly look into what Fujikiyo is and what he represents himself, his achievements among the samurai, how people talk about him like Apollyon and even the Vikings know of him, and even the Emperor awarded him such gifts, you gotta really paint the picture that Fujikiyo isn't that simple. That he is a legendary warrior among the samurai. Now you could say he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. When Fujikiyo finally realizes that his time is up, he does not resort to cheap tactics or running away like other characters from the game. He accepts his fate, and being a champion of the samurai, not just representing himself, his men, and the samurai of the Maya, he goes down like a true warrior of the Dawn Empire and the Imperial family. I do hope you enjoyed this video, Precursor, and anyone else who is watching this. I do hope to see a 10-page paragraph on why you were wrong about Fujikiyo on my desk by tomorrow. Also, where the fuck is the 10-hour Sohei video?
Well, we're waiting.
Precursor, stop eating your tea and crumpets and get your fat fingers out of the chips with gravy and make the video, please. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps out the channel. With that, I'll see you next time.
Every single person who watches your videos are fucking stupid. They're fucking ignorant little cunts.
I'm going surfing, dude!
Ha ha!